welcome to the showcase. Yet another fine episode coming up. Quite busy yesterday with a gentleman that's travelled the world 3 times over, and today I've got a girl that I think she'll be happy calling her a girl. I've got a young lady who's absolutely brilliant. And I'm going to tell you straight away, without going into the showcase, I'm going to do something drastically different on this podcast. So I'm going to introduce Celine. Hello, Celine.
Hello.
Let's give the viewers a couple of seconds to who is Celine? Who is Celine? Who is Celine? Who is Celine? Right, tell us, Celine, who you do a tribute to.
I do a tribute to Blondie.
Wow, with the red head. Fantastic. So I must tell the viewers, though, I had a chat with Celine before we did this, and had a good chat about good things and everything. And you wouldn't guess which country Celine's from.
From the name, you can.
Celine. Maybe. Parlez-vous français?
Exactly.
So Celine is from France originally. Come on, Celine, tell us all about why you lived in France and then why you moved to the UK.
Okay, so I'm French. Luckily, when I sing, I manage to hide the accent somehow. I don't know, but when I talk, obviously, it's right here. I might be able to do a Celine Dion tribute instead. You never know, one day. But the story goes that when I was a teenager, I was brought up in a music shop.
Really?
Yeah, my parents owned a music shop in the 70s. So I was surrounded by all the Led Zeps and very much prog. I'm a prog girl,
Wow.
through and through. And my granddad was the lead violin in the French National Orchestra. And so I remember sitting in rehearsals, age 4, in the symphony, orchestra, being blown over by all this music. And I decided to become a musician. So I took up the flute. And my life ambition when I was a teenager was to become a soloist, a flautist. And I failed my theory at the Paris Conservatoire and passed the flute, but not the theory. And that kind of threw my life plans away. I thought, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? And I was quite good at languages also at school. And I was taking French, I was taking German A-level and English A-level and Spanish A-level. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to become a European powerhouse. I'm going to go to England, get a degree, learn English really well, move on to Spain, move on to Germany. And it all stopped here. I came to the UK age 18 after my A-levels, did political science at University of Birmingham, and stayed. And in a roundabout way, I am a musician, but not a flautist.
Well, can I say I'm glad you're not a flautist, because I can't imagine you on stage blowing your whistle to Blondie.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. It has come in
wouldn't.
handy. We've had other bands where it's come in handy to play the flute because it was a different type of music. So
Yeah. I mean, I can't understand why. I mean, I'm English myself. I'm from England. I can't understand why you fell in love with England. What made you?
But I think it was very much the music.
Ah,
I think it was being brought up in a rock environment. It was, Queen, early Elton
oh
John,
yeah.
Genesis. My parents have seen them all more than once on stage. My first time in a nightclub in Paris, I was 6. I remember my stepfather arguing with the bouncers. She's used to it. We live in a music shop, and they let me in. This was interesting, actually. The 70s nightclub, Paris. Wow. There was a live band on stage, and I remember very clearly being picked up and put on stage, and the drummer was a woman, and she was topless.
What?
And I had to run and give her a kiss, on the cheek. So I grew up in that environment of parties, of very loud music, very
Oh,
English music. It was all the Brit bands. Um, the Beatles, and I think I really wanted to speak English. It was one of my life ambitions because I wanted to sing the songs.
Wow.
I wanted to sing, so
Do you know, that's
yeah.
never happened to me, Celine. I've never actually met a topless drummer. It's a shame that. But I mean, like you love England, I love France, and I suppose we all have our favourites. And you ended up staying here and fell in love and had a family.
Absolutely. That's what happens to us all when we go abroad if we're not
Absolutely.
careful.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, two daughters and just life
Wow.
life was here all of a sudden. I didn't go to Germany or Spain to do a political science degree, and I didn't become a European powerhouse.
Wow. And whereabouts in the UK are you?
I'm in Worcestershire.
Oh, so you're down south, down south.
No, wow, does it
Yeah,
south
Worcestershire's, well,
south of
yeah,
Birmingham,
well, that's down south.
is it?
For me in Hull, yeah, that's down
Okay,
south.
okay.
Southerner, southerner. But where you speak properly and correctness, and all like that. So, we've kind of like got into the podcast about your life in the United Kingdom, and I'm really happy that you're settled down. And what made you get into singing? Because you was a flautist, and then you've turned your head to singing.
Hmm. I was always a singer, to be
Was you
honest.
really?
Well, yeah, singing for yourself. Singing for myself, singing for. I was always performing, at home. I remember going to the hairdressers in my primary school years and putting on a show at the hairdressers, singing for them. I
Wow.
was never shy, never shy, and so singing. My dad played the guitar. I don't know. Singing was normal. Singing was not hard work. Playing the flute was hard work because that's learning an instrument, but singing was just a natural thing. So
It
yeah.
seems your family's got musical roots, so you've got a bit of your dad and a bit of your mum, and
Yeah, definitely. That's how it happens, I think, a lot of the time. Not always. I mean, there's some musicians who don't come from a musical background. Nobody really played an instrument in my background. Music was massively present, I mean, we had the police around all the time from the vibration on the windows. The neighbors would call the police. Yeah, it was just always a case that singing was normal. And my daughters actually are also, my eldest is like grade 8 violin player, ended up playing for the
wow.
county orchestra. My youngest daughter's trying to become a singer and records and composes. And so I think there's families where music is important and prevails, and others maybe not so. It doesn't mean you can't become a musician if you come from a background where there's no music, though. So,
Do you know, Celine? I was a music teacher in Hull, and there wasn't many people who wanted to take up the career. In a class of 20 or 30, you're lucky if you had one that wanted to do the trumpet or the saxophone, and maybe
mm,
somebody just wanted to do karaoke. There's no, I don't know, how do kids get into music nowadays? Because they listen to it and probably don't realise that they've probably got a good voice or they can turn their hands to guitar. I mean, I bought 30 guitars for the classroom, and they just used to bash them, and no real interest. But you kind of like come to the UK, you found your voice. Um, what was your first band that you got into, or did you ever do any solo work?
No, so actually that's interesting because I was very much a hobby singer. I sing all the time. Even now, I sing all the time. And I'm the kind of person, there's plenty of people like me. I've got music in my head all the time.
Oh,
It's a poison.
it is a poison, yeah. Do you,
It
do you
can
go
be.
to bed singing a song and you can't get
Yeah.
rid of it?
And it's not always a song you like. So, yeah, could be anything. Stops me sleeping. When I was learning all the Blondie repertoire, oh my God, I lost a lot of sleep over that because they're just in your head all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
But going back to your question, so yeah, I actually started singing professionally really late, in my 40s.
Wow.
So until then, it was never something I'd considered to do, other than for me, and it was just part of my personality, just singing everywhere. And my friends now say to me, "It makes perfect sense, Celine. You used to sing all the time, or you were always a performer. You were always putting on funny voices, doing jingles of adverts and just making people laugh and putting on voices and just being a clown. So,
So,
mm,
okay, why Blondie then?
okay, so that was okay. A bit of a accident thing, I guess. I mean, involved in another band, an '80s covers band. So I'm an '80s singer,
80s
and
chick.
80s chick, yes. Yeah. Coming out of COVID, we wanted to do something that would get us gigs, because we had singer-songwriter bands before and a French and Spanish band, gypsy jazz, things like
Wow.
that. And all these things are quite niche. And my ambition with what we're doing is I want to perform to crowds. That's what I want. That's what I get a kick out of. So, we want to do something that would be popular, more popular than a singer-songwriter band that nobody wants to listen to, more popular than gypsy jazz, and we decided to do an '80s act, and that went really quickly, very, very high, very popular, just after COVID, so only 5 years ago. And as part of our repertoire, we do 2 Blondie songs. We do Atomic and Call Me, because there were such big hits in the '80s, and I think somebody said to me, if you pushed it a little bit, you could actually sound really quite like her."
Oh,
And I thought, "Yeah, I guess probably." And then the guitarist Chris, said to me, "Should we do a Blondie tribute?" And I say yes to most things. I'm a yes person. So I said, "Why not? Go on, let's do it." And, so that's how it started. So I'm not an original fan. I wouldn't say I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. I'm not an original Blondie fan because I think they're a bit old for me. They're only a fraction, right? But at the time they were very, very big. I was still into my Disney films and my Disney songs. I was a bit too young. Had I been 4 or 5 years older, yeah, and probably I would have been a big fan. So I was just aware of the big hits, because they were, and I loved them, obviously, Atomic and Picture This and Heart of Glass and all that are in songs that are really in the collective memory. But I had to really dig deep and learn all the album songs and become a true fan. Yeah.
it's strange because when I first got going, a girl said to me, can you play any Blondie stuff on guitar?" I said, "No." I had a listen and she goes, "Can you do Call Me?" Da, 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 da. And I said, I didn't know how to play it. So I went to the guitar shop and I said, "Can you show me how to play this?" And that guy actually ended up being a best friend of mine for many years. Yeah, so that's the first thing I learned on guitar. And we never did the song anyway. So it's great. It is challenging music, though, to play and sing. And looking at your band, you've got some awesome musicians.
Do you know, it's much more challenging than we ever thought, all of us.
Really?
Um, oh gosh, yeah. I think trying to impersonate Debbie Harry has
Yeah,
definitely made me a better singer because it got me to reach the highs. It got me to go really low. Her range is amazing. I
it
never
is.
realized at all until I was really listening very, very carefully, trying to really get the tone and what a fantastic vocalist she is. And I think it's not being recognized because she's a rock chick, and because she doesn't do ballads, and because she's not a soloist. If she was, she would be a diva. She would be considered along the lines of the other people that we consider to be divas. But she's got an edge, and so she's not a diva, but she is. The voice is incredible, and all the other musicians in my band are all, have had to work very, very hard. Drummer burned between 800 and 1,000 calories per gig.
What? Yeah, because it's really powerful drumming. Is
Yeah, it drives. It's a drum-driven sound in many ways, the Blondie,
yeah.
I think. So it's been countless hours, not just learning songs that because we had to dig deep and learn all the album songs and things, so go much further than the hits. So a lot of learning time, a lot of just in the zone over and over and the, um, the feel for Blondie.
Question,
Yeah.
Celine. How many songs of Blondie do you do?
We have, I think it's 26
Wow,
in
is
my
there that many? Wow.
oh,
Because,
that
when you think of Debbie Harry, you can only remember 3 or 4 famous ones. So
mm, I'm gonna challenge you. I think you will know way more than 3 or 4.
maybe.
There are
Uh,
11 top 10 hits,
really. Come on, tell me the 11.
okay? Oh, can I name them all? I'm not sure. Have you
Yeah,
heard of Heart of Glass?
yeah,
Have
great.
you heard of Atomic?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Call Me?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Denis?
Denis, Denis, da, da, da.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great classic, that.
Have you heard of The Tide is High?
Tide is that? Yeah, that one, yeah. Wow,
Have you
there's
heard?
5.
Oh,
You've
hang
only
on.
got 6 more to go.
Oh gosh. Have you heard of Hanging on the Telephone?
Yeah, yeah. Hanging on the telephone.
Have you heard of One Way or Another?
Yeah. Is that Blondie? Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
Have you heard of Union City Blue?
Probably.
Picture This.
Yeah.
Rapture.
No.
Rapture. No.
I'll have a listen when we've finished this.
We're on 10. I'm missing one. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
Sunday Girl.
Yeah, Sunday Girl, I know that one. That's a classic. And which when you play the songs on stage, which one gets the best applause or people go crazy over?
Oh, the one I forgot. Maria.
Really? Oh, really?
Maria.
Maria. Yeah, that's classic, that. Yeah.
I think it's a tough question, actually, because we finish with Atomic, which gets the crowds really going, and Maria. So these are our last 2 numbers. By that time, people in the club are either really drunk, so up for it, or generally we've had them up and we've warmed to each other, because it takes a while. I think when you perform, you go in cold on people and they have to warm to you and you have to warm to
Yes.
them. It's a
Yeah.
trust relationship because they have to feel confident they can sing and they can dance, and that doesn't happen on the first song. Very rarely, sometimes, but very rarely. So those songs, Maria and Atomic, get really the crowd going. But it depends because we appeal to the deep fans, who were there at the time, as well as newer fans who just know the hits and have come just for the hits. So you touch different people different ways, and people really respond to you digging out a song that they haven't heard for ages. Dreaming is one of them. People love
Ah,
Dreaming. Um,
a
mm.
request of people, do they say, can you do this one? And it's obscure or something.
That's never happened. We have
Oh,
shout outs,
yeah.
because we have people shouting, French kissing in the USA.
Oh,
Do you know that one?
yeah.
Yeah. See, there's tons,
Crikey.
really. Or
So
they shout things sometimes.
how many sets do you do? Do you usually do 1 or 2? Okay, so 2 what, 45s, 250s?
150, 160.
Wow, that's pretty good value for money. Do you do anything else? Any other cover songs, or do you just purely do Blondie?
We're 100% Blondie.
Wow.
That's what people sign up for. That's what they buy into. They're coming to see Blondie. And
Right.
yeah.
Let's talk more in a minute. I'm just going to put your show reel on now. Right. I really hope that people haven't. That is a fantastic show reel. Where did you get that done? About show reels is that it just gives the booker or the venue that bit of perception that you're the real thing. And I love the name Blondish. It's absolutely fantastic. How do you get on with 5 guys?
I've got 2 brothers, so I'm good, actually. Yeah, you have to actually, you have to get on it. That's really important point. You have to get on. I'm good with men, generally. I
Oh,
get on
yeah.
with men. That came across badly. But no, I was brought up with two brothers, and
Okay.
I think I'm quite in touch with my masculine side, and I think some of the band are quite in touch with their feminine side. We kind of gel. But that was really important because we didn't know each other at the beginning, actually. You know, we there was one, I know Chris, the guitarist, and we wanted to put together this Blondie band, and we didn't know who to have, and we wanted seasoned musicians. We thought we don't want to waste our time with people who are going to use it to get better at the instrument, or we wanted people who had a track record of gigging, of they could prove that they could play their instrument, and they had performed before. So we put social media adverts, and got people to send us their videos, so to speak. So and they had to be fairly local as well. And we got together. It was interesting because we decided to practice 5 songs individually. We hadn't met these guys before, and to meet in a studio and have a go. I thought, okay, let's come with 5 songs and see how that goes. And we really got on really well immediately. We came out of the studio after the 2-hour rehearsal, and we took our first band photos ready for, let's go, let's do it. We knew.
It's awesome.
So
So you all clicked. Having the right musicians and the right sound is absolutely fantastic. And yourself, when you look at some of your pictures, you look like the real thing. It's really, really good. I like it. So usually, sometimes most people I interview on here don't look or sound like. They either just sound like or they look like. And you're kind of like, well, you're the hot thing. You look like them and you sound like them. So what more could one ask? How many gigs a week are you doing, or are you just doing it for? Are you dependent on the money? Are you dependent on making a living from it? How does it work for
no,
you?
luckily we're not. We've all got full-time jobs. Uh, More than one in my case. So it would be lovely to know we can make a living out of the music, but at the moment we cannot. And our Blondie Tribute is in its first year of completion, actually. So we've only been going for 1 year. So I think this year we counted them yesterday, we had 19 gigs, and they've been a mixture of theatres and music venues, live music venues.
Wow.
So it's just, yeah, it's the beginning, really.
So how do you get your gigs? Who manages that side of the band?
We all do it ourselves. And we've all got it's really good to be in a band, actually, because we've all got strengths. So um Chris, the guitarist, is more on the promo side of things. He's the one who's going to put out Facebook adverts and be on top of that meta. He's the meta man. uh Damon, our drummer, is on to the website and the tech and back. We have got lovely backdrops where we gig, and he's all about the visuals and the website. Greg, the bass player, is the finance man. You got to have somebody who is on top of the spreadsheets and the forecast and the projections and the final accounts and stuff. And also, he promotes a lot. I promote. So we've all got a little bit of a role that established itself quite naturally, actually. Yeah. We got a
Good.
little role. Yeah.
Are you looking for representation, or are you just happy to do what you do?
Yeah, I think we're open to it. This tribute game is quite new to us, so I think we got quite open to suggestions, offers, collaborations. Yeah, we're just a bit wary of promoters.
Yes.
People said, there are some good ones out there, but there are some who are not so scrupulous. I
Yes.
know I know a guy in another tribute, and they're a very successful tribute, and they have sacked a promoter because they had a 1,000-seater theater filled to the brim. I think the takings, he was telling me, were £21,000 at the till, and the band got
Oh dear.
£3,000. So he said, "You be
Yes.
careful. If you get a promoter, you be really, really careful." He thinks the promoter was in on it with the venue as well. So, so we
So,
are
so
open. It'd be lovely to make it easier for us and to have representation. Because with the 80s, we've got agents,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's a bit different. They're not promoters as such.
Yeah. This is why I do this show, Celine, because people don't see the negatives and the positives behind the scene, and you talk about things like that, You only have to look at a really favourite band of mine years ago. You'll remember the Bay City Rollers, and Les McEwen spent the rest of his life fighting for the millions. He was a pauper, had no money. So where did all those millions go, Celine? It's just
Mm,
so sad to hear that he died a pauper, and somebody else got all that money locked away. Crazy.
yeah.
But anyway, moving back on to your band, they call yourself Blondish. That's a good name.
Almost blonde, not quite.
Yeah, yeah. What about the guys then? Do they put on wigs or no?
No, actually, but I had to be a bit stern with them.
Oh, why?
Because initially, obviously, the main focus of Blondie is Debbie Harry. I understand. I am the focus of the band.
Yes.
Uh, to a point where actually I've never had that kind of level of attention uh, in my performing life as since I've been doing Debbie Harry. We can talk about that later. The attention from fans is quite crazy. But I said to them, I'm investing in my look. I'm investing in my clothes, in very expensive wigs because they cost a lot of money to look genuine. And you guys have to be on that level as well. It's not just all about me. People will be looking at the whole band. So I think it didn't come naturally to some of the band members to look stylish. Sorry, guys, because they're going to be watching this. But I think they have to agree that they weren't the type of people maybe to think about what they were wearing as much as I made them. So I was like, you got to have cool shoes, you got to have cool shirts, you got to be in keeping also with what the Blondie used to wear. And but now they're all up for it. They do a costume change in
Good.
halfway through, and they've bought different clothes. It was just an initial, come on, guys, it's not just me. You also really,
Yeah.
really matter in the looks.
Look, lads, you've been in the business long enough to know that you've got to look something representing, you're on stage, you're an artist, people look at you. You can't come on with mucky sannies and scruffy jeans. It just doesn't work.
No, no.
Um, the dressing up part of it. And like you said, Celine, having to put the wig on and things like that. That's another thing. I mean, all that crazy dancing you do, I'm surprised your wig didn't fall off.
Well, actually, I brought my wig. I thought let's show the people what it's like. Okay.
Oh,
So
right.
this is I've got two wigs because I realized recently that if something happens to this is
Yeah.
my main wig. Look at that.
Where'd you get that from? I mean,
So, do you want me to
it's
name
really,
this? No, I got this from a company that actually sells wigs for people who've actually lost their hair and really need something that looks really real.
that does. Yeah.
So it's not a cosplay. It's a proper wig for people who want to look that it's their hair. So
Can I
that
ask you something, Celine? You've got a lot of hair. How do you hide all that under
don't worry,
that?
I bought my guess. So so this will set you back £400-500.
Whoa.
I know. I never thought I would spend that kind of money on a wig because I wear them from my 80s as well. But us, so once you've got the wig, and like you say, there's a lot of things here going
Mm,
on. So then you have a net. It's not a good look. I tell you what, it's not a good look. So I do a ponytail, like wrap all my hair up like this and put
mm.
it through the net, right? And the ponytail
Ah,
sticks out, and then you sort of get the elastic band off and spread your hair around in the net. So initially you're in the net, right? And then I had an incident with just wearing the net. I was in the middle of dreaming, I think, towards the end, and I could feel my net going back, 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 and I thought, no! I knew I was going to lose the wig. So it was an awful feeling because it's almost like suddenly becoming naked. So I ran to the back of the stage, and none of the band knew what had happened. I waited as long as I could for a break between two songs. I can't run mid song because if I'd needed to, I would have put my hand on it and finished my song. I wouldn't have just disappeared. The song was finished, and I thought, right, I've got to go now. So I left the stage running. I said goodbye, everybody. It was like towards the end of the concert, and they didn't know where I was. I could hear people go, more, more, more. And Chris in the mic was saying, "We don't know where Debbie's gone. Debbie, where are you?" And I was like, I'm struggling with my net in behind the curtains without a
Yeah.
mirror, thinking, "Oh my God, am I going to turn up and the wig's going to be like this, this?" So that was a scary moment, and it happened another time as well. So I've now also invested in so this is in addition to wearing your net, you wear
Wow.
like a headband that will sort of stabilize the edge of the net, and it keeps you really warm. All this, it keep
That was my next question. And you must sweat like, well, I don't know. A
yeah. So
tomato in a greenhouse.
yeah, so we've if it's a theater, I've got a massive stage fan, one of those that's like this
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And put that quite far away. So I mean, makes me look a bit like Beyonce as well because my hair is flicking away.
Wow.
I've also got a mic fan, so it actually clips on my mic and it blows from below to try and keep myself cool. But it's always a concern, actually, especially the summer, because it's our first year as well, and this is 2025. We've had a very, very dry and hot summer, and I was so concerned about the summer gigs because it's what you wear as well. You've got got thigh boots and blazers and leather skirts, and yeah.
Hey, thanks
So,
for telling us about you showing us your wig. That was very interesting because not many people do that. But
no,
have you also had any other mishaps? Have you ever tripped in your high heels or something like that?
uh, no, no, actually, I haven't. Thank goodness. No, 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 no,
Nothing. No, good.
no,
Uh,
no.
because usually there's always something that happens. The PA won't start, or the drummer lost his sticks or left them
Oh,
at
yeah, that
home.
happens all the time. Sorry, David. Yeah, or being put off by one of the musicians, like doing the wrong thing, playing the wrong note, or sometimes
Oh,
quite often it's me as well because,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, sometimes something distracts you.
It
Somebody
does.
somebody in the crowd, or you start thinking about something that you shouldn't because you should be in the zone completely, but you start thinking about the next song, or something happened and you lose your thread, and you throw everybody else around you. You get your
Mm,
lyrics wrong, and that throws you because
mm.
even though you think, oh, nobody knows, this is an obscure song and not many people will know the lyrics, you need to know the lyrics because you need to stay focused and own the stage. And the moment you get the lyrics wrong, it can really throw you off balance, which is not good. So yeah.
Interesting. So the band you live nearby each other, and do you go in a van or do you all go in separate cars to your gig, or what happens?
Now, so far we've been going into separate cars. We've been asked to do a festival in Northern Ireland.
Wow.
And so for that, if that came about, if that came to friction, I think we would definitely have to
Hire
share
a
it.
van.
Yeah, hire a van. Yeah. But that makes everything really expensive, you know?
Yeah,
You start
I
adding
know.
the costs and yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about festivals because there's quite a lot in the UK. I mean, there's one in Hull called Tribfest. Very, 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 very popular. Thousands come over a weekend, so you should look out for that one and try and get a contact there. Things like that. Hull's not far from Worcestershire.
Birmingham. Yeah. No, yeah,
Bromley. Mm.
yeah, festivals for sure. Yeah, it's a nice crowd as well at festivals.
And who owns the PA system, or do you rent it?
No, so it depends on no. We tend to gig in places where they have a PA system and an engineer. So a lot of theaters do have one, and music venues as well. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just have, so we have to hire a PA and a sound engineer who that's adding to the cost every time. So we've got a little collection of 2 or 3 sound engineers who will come with us and provide the PA and do all the sound check and the mixing, and yeah.
That's
So
good then.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's better if the venue has their own, obviously. Mm.
So how do people book you, and how far are you going to travel? But there's people watching this show, bookers from all over the place. If you got a gig in Scotland and the money was right, would you do it?
Yep.
How does that? Oh, fair
I
enough.
think well,
Yeah.
we've been talking about that because we so far have been within probably 100-mile radius of Birmingham, but we look like we need to go further up and or further south. And I think the way would really work for us would be to book 2 gigs. That's what people do. You sort of have a Friday and a Saturday, so it's if possible. But yeah, we're prepared to travel. Definitely, we love it. We really love it. You know,
Good.
we feel like when we're on stage doing this Blondie thing, we feel like there are songs. We don't
Assholes.
no our songs, our songs.
Our songs.
Sorry.
Oh dear. And you know, how do people book you then? I know you've got a website, which is pretty good. So people would just go to the website and find your number and email and everything on there, yeah?
Yeah, we've got a contact form. So people contact us through our contact form saying where they are, uh, and we get in touch with them. Or people message us on our messenger, Facebook Messenger. So we like Blondie, Blondish band playing the music of Blondie.
Mm.
So we've got a Facebook page, and people contact us via the messenger app. Yeah.
The good thing about you, Celine, and the band, you've done everything right because you've got a great website, you've got all the contact details, you've got fantastic show reel, you've got great outfits, backdrop, lights. You're the real thing.
It's great. It's really
Yeah.
good fun. It's really good
And
fun.
that's what makes it, Celine, you know, because you really feel like you are Debbie Harry.
Yeah, which means that sometimes I don't know how to behave at the end of gigs because uh, I've been wearing this for 2
Yeah.
hours and it's time to pack away, right? And it's not all glam. So so you do have to pack away your own stuff. We don't have any staff carrying equipment in and out of the theater. You do it yourself. So if I'm in a theater, it's a little bit easier because people will leave. You know, it's a theater, so the show ends, they give you thank you. I go outside and say thank you and say hello and everything else, and I have queues for selfies. It's really interesting, actually. Yeah, people are generally so happy to have relived that music, and
Yeah.
they've had a dance as well, and a lot of people appreciate that. So I haven't had a dance like this for ages, they say to me.
Good.
But in a live music venue, I've got more of a problem because it's a drinking place.
Mm.
So there's like a stage, a floor, and a bar. And after the show is over, people will hang around
Yes.
and we'll carry on having a night out. And my situation is, do I start packing my mics away in my
Yes.
heels as Debbie Harry carrying her own mic stands off the
Yeah, I
stage?
understand. Yeah, yeah.
Or do I actually take everything off, right? Take the wig off, take the makeup off, put my
Don't say
jeans on.
everything, Celine.
And would people know? And then that's when I worry that people might spot me as being Debbie Harry, suddenly without all the glam, and
Yeah.
I'd feel awful if I were. It's almost like, yeah, like I feel more of a fraud without the wig and the makeup than I do with. When actually I'm a fraud with the wig and the makeup. It's not
That's
really
good.
me, you
That's
know.
good. It's good that you have that passion. I really set my hat off to you. Do you have any merchandise?
No, we've been talking about that as well. And we've been wondering, you know, we've actually started to explore that avenue. The problem is that why do you want merch? What is the reason? Is it for promotion? Because if it's just for promotion, it's worth having. Or is it to top up your earnings? Because if it's for
No,
that reason, it's not worth it.
I think there's many reasons. And a friend of mine, Pete McCauley, he has the Rod Stewart songbook, and I've been trying to push him for ages to get the booklet that tells you, sure, forgot the name of it, like a brochure, not a brochure, 3 or 4 pages. And basically, it has pictures and your show times and the songs you do and the contact details. And people want to relive it when they go home. They say, look at this band we've seen. And go, wow, they look great, you know. And not only that, it's absolutely 100% perfect to send to bookers because they'd go, yeah, I want that book. I want that band, you know. And if you look at doing that, you increase your sales, your marketing better, and the cost of those not brochures, what do they call them? Shows. Sorry, Celine, my head's gone. You sell them at your venue as well. £2. They only probably cost you £1, so you make 100% on it. And you'd be amazed, £2, everybody will buy them, you know? And it's a good way of, and somebody will always say, or they'll take it to the club or the local club or the vet and say, look at this band. you should book these. So there's a lot of reasons why I believe in having a pamphlet, booklet, whatever you want to call it, in the theatre. Um, you won't lose money on it, and you get advertisers as well. So the advertisers would pay for the booklet, and then all the money you make on them, it goes towards more and things like that. So let's say your local butchers might want to have an advertisement in there, or the local hairdresser, or the school might. I don't, and you'd just be amazed at how many people would take an advert in your brochure because it looks so good, and
Mm,
they know that it's getting read, it's getting seen. So anyway,
great idea.
something to think of, So,
Mm, mm,
so
mm.
anything else you want to tell us behind the scenes, Celine, before we depart?
No, just that it's been a great adventure so far.
Yeah,
We've been making people very happy, and that's one of the best feelings when you're a performer. That's what you do it for. I think for me, I do it for two reasons. I do it because I love singing. I love it, and I love dancing. And people are willing to pay me to do that, which is incredible. So that's good. But also it's what you do, what you create in somebody that makes it all worthwhile. So amazing, actually, really amazing. There was a gig not so long ago in a theatre, and there was a guy on the third row, and he spent the whole gig sat back like this, singing the songs, all of it. He knew all the words, and he was in the zone, and he was like this, and he was like that, and wow. And I thought this is great because that's what you do it for, to bring that kind of happiness in somebody who is having a fab night out and is in the zone, completely in the zone. It's
you're
great.
absolutely right, and that's what I call entertainment. So, on
Mm.
behalf of the showcase, I really appreciate you continuing to watch these podcasts because they are very interesting. And certainly, this is the first French lady I've had on here talking about a Blondie tribute. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I was actually sorry to interrupt, but that came about because I got contacted by somebody in America for the film
wow,
industry. Uh, yeah, somebody called Steve Spring, who writes music for Netflix
wow,
and the film industry, found me on somehow on the internet and was looking for a true Debbie Harry sound-alike. I was so flattered, and he said, "Would you like to collaborate with me on a song I've been commissioned to write in the style of Blondie for the film industry?" So of course I said yes because I was so flattered. So he said to me on the phone, um, I can't believe that I'm from New York myself. He is from New York. And I'm going to be collaborating with a British person for writing a Blondie song. And I said, no, you're not collaborating with a British girl. You're collaborating with a French girl. And he couldn't believe it. He said, I can't hear. He said, all he could hear was a British accent. I'm sure if there's any UK people listening to this, they can hear the Brummie accent
I
in that
can't.
French.
I can hear the French accent because I've been to France a few times
Yeah,
and I love it. But you kind of like got the elocution of an English person. So to me, it's you
mm,
just sound like you. Nobody could tell you're from France. I don't think.
yeah. So that was great, actually. That was yeah, I forgot
Good.
to mention that was great. That
And
was
has
good.
has that transpired, or did it not happen?
No, not yet. So the deal with what we people don't realize when you watch a series or a film, there's music, and
Yes.
somebody composes that music. So obviously
Yeah.
we know the big composers who do the big film music, but what about a documentary? What about a small, series? They're not the big guys. So this person in Houston, Texas, makes a living out of writing film music. So he writes a lot and then sends. He's got an agent, I think. And there's no money in it until the song gets picked. If the song gets picked, you're in quite good money, even if it gets played for 2 seconds or whatever. So he
Wow.
said to me, "We've done two or three, not all in the style of Blondie, but we've done some French songs as well. Uh, and one has been picked for a series, but we don't know if it's going to make it to the final cut. It needs to make it to the final cut, and we don't know yet. So we'll see what happens."
Great.
Yeah,
And while we're talking about that, I've just remembered a program. That's what it's called.
of course.
Yeah, a program. I just couldn't remember it. I don't know why. But, I have a friend who's got a Freddie Mercury tribute, and he has the programs, and they sell like rocket fuel.
Mm.
I think you'd even get a fiver if it was good. If you had 3 or 4 pages and glossy and great pictures, I mean, of you look absolutely awesome. So I think people would buy them, and it's a good way of promoting. Anyway, on that, I'm going to say, on behalf of the showcase, thank you, Celine. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for coming on the show. I do hope people enjoy watching this. And if you want to book Celine, all the details will be on here on this podcast. Please feel free to contact Celine, and I'm sure she'll get back to you rather rapidly. And secondly, if you want to leave any messages on the YouTube video on the podcast, I'm sure Celine would like to read them. Any comments you've got, and you want to talk to her on the YouTube, that's fantastic, because the algorithms work by participation. If you're talking to somebody and things like that. Let's get Celine's podcast up there in the thousands. That would be really good. So keep watching the show, keep liking, keep sharing, and on behalf of me, Sean at the Showcase, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Celine.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been fantastic. Thank you.